this shot looks familiar to you, that's because it's the opening of a movie from 1976, The Town That Dreaded Sundown. Hey, Ramblin' Ted here. I'm in Texarkana, Texas side, although I can see Arkansas from here. And today we're looking at some of the filming locations from Charles B. Pierce's 1976 classic horror movie, The Town That Dreaded Sundown. A movie based on some true events that happened in Texarkana in 1946 and 47, where a crazy masked killer was going around and killing and attempting to kill people. That is Union Station, which was used in the movie extensively, as well as all of this, part of the MCARTNEY Hotel. This entire facade right here was dressed up, and this area was made to look like it did in the 40s for the movie. It's pretty interesting, actually. I've been a fan of this movie for years. I have watched it many, many times, and I actually saw it before I moved here in 1985, and it scared the crap out of me, not gonna lie. But anyway, that's the Union Station. The clock up top is not looking so good now. It's I don't even think the clock's in there. I think it's fallen over. Yeah, appears to have fallen over inside there. But that's it. That's Union Station. Another shot that look completely different now because of the fact that they built the Bi-State Justice Building and tore down a lot of buildings in between that time. So I'll walk over here and swing around. So I walk up here to the there you're seeing the front of the Hotel MCARTNEY and the part that they used for downtown. They filmed quite a few scenes here. Several shots going this way where you can see some buildings on the other side and you can see the street. Of course, you can't see any of that now. The Bi-State Justice Building is there. It's been there. I want to say they had just opened that when I moved here in '85, so I guess they built that in the early 80s, so they would have torn this down. The movie was filmed in 1976, so things have changed a lot in the man, what is that, 45 years? 40? Yeah, that's a lot. It's quite a bit of time. Of course, there's no trespassing. You can't go in the old Union Station anymore. I remember in the 90s, some friends of mine opened it up, and it was a nightclub, and it was pretty neat. Yeah, you see these shots a lot, a whole lot. We're actually standing under the awning. There's the MCARTNEY, which you see in the movie, which was it had been closed for a while, I think, when they filmed the movie, and then they dressed it up, made it look like an open building, but it was not at the time, sadly. Yeah, quite an interesting deal. You see a shot similar to this several times during the movie. They use those steps right there on the end of the train station as the police station in the movie, and they fixed the inside up and everything else. I remember going in there in the 80s and seeing that some of the walls were only one-sided and wondering why, and then I realized later on that they'd filmed this movie there, so they were fake walls. Quite a neat building, and it's the establishing shot for this movie, which I'll include a little footage from the actual movie in here and let you see that. Still a grand building, even in the state it's in. Still a pretty impressive structure. You see a shot like this a few times in the movie, and there's a sticking out right out here. There's a false ticket booth, and they made this look like a theater, like a movie theater of some kind. But you see that shot a few times in the movie. See a few shots really similar to this. They're done at night, where you see people up under this awning on the left, and then over at the awning on the right, like buying tickets to go in and see a movie or whatever, or play, or whatever it was supposed to be. They make it. It's amazing that they make it look like a hustling, bustling 1940s downtown, and it's kind of neat the way they did it. But this is it. They used this area right here for a whole lot of downtown Texarkana. I'm going to move on to a few other shots, a few other scenes, and there's not a lot left actually. There's a few things I could show you, but they're long gone, so I'd just be showing you empty fields. But this is probably the neatest part of the whole thing. It's a good shot of them, the MCARTNEY, showing how tall it is. For the time it was built, it was probably considered a skyscraper. Not very tall now, though. Still one of the taller buildings in Texarkana, though. This little town is not a major metropolitan area by any means. You see this shot several times in the movie, where they're standing up on the stairs there, giving speeches and talking about the case. If you don't, there's plenty of stuff on the internet about the Town That Dreaded Sundown and the Phantom Killer from I believe it was 46, 47. He basically terrorized this area. He killed people out on Lover's Lane, you know, parking and stuff. And it's kind of funny, because when you really look at that movie and look at what this guy did, he sort of laid the groundwork and the basis for modern horror movies, you know. And this was Charles Pierce kind of started all this. This movie, it's a low budget movie filmed here in Texarkana by Charles Pierce. He's a native of this area. His previous movies, he'd done a movie in '72, I believe, called Legend of Boggy Creek, and just several other. Yeah, we did one with there's the Hotel McCartney, which you see that a lot. But yeah, he did a movie with Lee Majors, and I can't remember what it was called now. And his son, Charles Pierce Jr., was in several of these movies. And I've met Charles Pierce Jr. He seems to be a pretty nice guy. Never met Charles Pierce, though. Know several people that were in these movies, and it was the stories they tell about filming it. And it, you know, of course, it's low budget, and it's but honestly, The Town That Dreaded Sundown is a pretty good movie. It's a lot of fun to watch. Charles Pierce plays a really goofy deputy in it named Sparkplug, and there's a couple of scenes with him that are pretty funny. But it's a neat movie. It's a good part of history of this town. I had no idea when I saw it back in the oh man, I guess I saw it probably in 79 or 80, just a few years after it came out. It was on HBO or something, and I mean, it scared the living crap out of me. The way this guy breathes with this hood over his head, just, I remember having nightmares as a kid. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I would live in that town. There's Paula with her little backpack. She loves that thing. Didn't really think I'd live in that town, but ended up here, and I've been here for 30-something years. That's pretty nice. They're doing a lot of revitalization of this area in downtown, and I'm all for it. It's needed it for a long time. But yeah, that's probably going to do it for this area. You see these shots, and here's the Hotel McCartney again. A little better shot of it, and all that. It was they show a lot of the downtown scenes are filmed right there, and it's it's kind of funny how they use that little bit of an area, and then you cross the street over here to the front of this, and they use that, and honestly in the movie they make it appear to be a bustling 1940s downtown, and it's pretty neat the way they did it. It's impressive. Movie magic just fascinates me, and filming locations kind of fascinate me, so you might see some more of them. Charles Pierce did a couple other movies, and I know a lot of the locations where they filmed at. So anyway, we're going to move on to the next location. One of the buildings that I've been trying to locate is Dawn Wells, who played Mary Ann in the Gilligan's Island, has a small part in this movie, and it was a really big deal. And in this movie, she goes to a grocery store and picks up some groceries, and I cannot find that building. This building's similar, except it's two floors, and the buildings in the shot are only one floor. So either second floors were added to these buildings, or this is not it. But this is very similar to where she parks her car with these 3 windows, and there's like a loading door back there where that little build out is, which has been added on. So I'm going to include this here. I don't think it's it. The story I was told was that it was on Broad Street, but I can't find it. Now they've torn down a lot of buildings on Broad. So I don't think this is it. I think this is just really similar looking. But they've torn down several buildings on Broad Street, and I'm afraid that's one of them, and it's lost to history. But I'm going to include this here, and I'll line the shot up, and you'll probably see why I think this could be it. But I really don't think I'm right. And if any of you know where that building was, or if it's torn down or whatever, please put in the comments and let me know, because I'd love to document it where it is. Anyway, I'm just putting this in here just in case, because there's always a possibility, right? Alrighty, now we're going to the next spot.
Now May 3rd, 1946.
There's a really funny scene in the movie where Charles Pierce, who plays a character called Sparkplug, who's kind of the comic relief for the movie, they get this big Texas Ranger in, and he really wants to impress the guy, I guess. So they're going to a scene, and he takes off. His lights blaring, the sirens flying down the road up about 100 miles an hour, and in about 2 seconds they're from downtown to out here by the Mandeville area where they filmed this, because of movie magic, you know. But anyway, the Texas Ranger yells, "Hold it, boy, hold it!" And he just locks his brakes up and comes screeching to a halt and everything. And anyway, that was filmed right here in front of front of this cemetery. You can kind of see the cemetery entrance in the shot, and then you can see down this road. That's the road he was flying down right there. It's a pretty funny scene. I like it. It makes me laugh every time I see it.
Hold it, boy.
Jesus. I meant slow down, not stop, for Christ's sakes. You just got two controls on this damn thing, wide open and stop?
Well, I figured you was in a hurry.
Comes flying over that hill right there. He yells, "Hold it, boy!" And comes through here, and he just locks them up, and you can see out the back window. You can see all of all this right here, and this gate in the cemetery. Just a short little scene, but it's a pretty funny one in the movie. Alrighty, on to the next spot. Now this looks a lot different than it did in the movie, but this is an old National Guard armory, which was used as a stand-in for a high school for a prom dance, where two of the victims of the Phantom Killer were playing a prom or a dance of some kind. I believe it's a prom. I'm 99% sure it was a prom. But anyway, this was an old National Guard armory that they used for that. It used to be all that wood up top was windows. It's sitting in it's kind of funny because it didn't look like this at all. I think they added a road through right here, because there was a big parking lot here. And this is where they filmed the dance scenes, and then they leave from here and go out to Lover's Lane. Of course, the Phantom Killer shows up and makes their lives pretty miserable. But the last thing I remember this being was a restaurant supply place. It was storage for this restaurant supply company, which is right across the street there. But yeah, that's it. That's the building, and as you can see, it's a lot different now than what it was. There's hardly any room out front. It's in this neighborhood over here close to downtown. 601 Locust Street, I think, is an address. But yeah, it looks a whole lot different than it did back in the day. Pretty neat though to see. I'm glad it's still standing and hasn't been torn down yet. This is a piece of history. Old National Guard Armory. Pretty cool. What are you doing, Paul? What are you doing? Huh? She hears some kids talking over there, so she's... Yep. Pretty neat to see. All right, I think that's gonna about do it. There's a couple other locations. There was the college auditorium that but it's torn down. There was a church they used in several scenes that it's torn down and gone too, so I'd just be showing you empty lots, and that's no fun. So anyway, but that's the scene where the dance was held and where they were playing the music inside, and there's a trombone scene. If you've ever if you ever watched the movie, and in reality the poor girl didn't play a trombone. She played I want to say saxophone or a trumpet. But of course in the movie they use the trombone to great effect, as you'll see if you watch The Town That Dreaded Sundown, the original, not the horrible remake. All right, I'm gonna call it a day. That's it for me. I'm gonna get this stuff edited and try and get it up on YouTube for you guys. This is Sunday the 26th. I'll try and get this up tomorrow, so the 27th. Hopefully I'll have it up and you'll have a new video. I kind of waited a little longer than I should have to put a second one up, but anyway, I'll be better in the future, I promise. And remember, it costs nothing to be a good person. Absolutely nothing. Till next time. That's a lot of dog in the back of a little bitty car. You are so beautiful. You're so beautiful. I'm going to put you on here because I'm sure people want to see way more of you than they do me. So there's some pretty Paula right there. Say hi to the people. Say see you next time. See you next time.